afternoon.
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. I have a question for you before Todd piggybacks off it.
To Clarence.
Several of your players were talking after the game yesterday just about Tyler Smith and Micah Parsons and some others, just about the culture and finishing this season out strong. And they were talking about, what you had built here going into this season. I know fans and media, we often tend to look at it just in the season, but do you believe what you've kind of built in these previous 3 years, you're kind of seeing some elements of it here as you finish this out?
Definitely. I believe in building a championship program. I mean, that was really the approach since day one. And obviously, it's important to, live, learn, and apply it to the future. But, I mean, frankly, I do enjoy these questions, because I am a philosopher. Can't even say it with a straight face. But really, we need to beat Tampa, guys. I mean, we really do. We need to beat Tampa, and I think it's great those guys, answer those questions for you and so forth. But, yeah, definitely, we build a good program here. There's definitely things you learn each and every week, each and every year. I'm old school in the fact of keeping the yellow tablet at the on my desk, and you write things down as the year goes on, and that you want to look for in the off-season program. Changes in training camp, the media access to training camp is ridiculous. We need to cut that out. Just things like that. I mean, but no, I mean, you're always looking to improve, and being just. I think it's important to correct while you're in it, while it's fresh. Good things too. I mean, just say, hey, we need to do more of this in the practice, because the off-season programs change. There's always adjustments. And at the end of the day, our job is to, create the culture and make sure the team's, being trained properly and make sure our guys are given everything they need to win football games.
And along with that, you were talking last night about just, you lost a couple more starters going into that game, the importance of keep going. DeMarcus Lawrence, is there a chance you'll activate his window this week, or what does it look like for him going?
Just in a brief meeting we had earlier, I don't see DeMarcus being available this week. No, he was not on that. He was not part of that conversation.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN, you talk about the yellow tablet that you keep. Has there been more pages in that tablet this year than they've written in the past?
No, I think it's consistent. In the beauty of, doing this for a while, I think it's real important just to always be in the evaluation mode, because that's, nothing stays the same in the game of football. Nothing stays the same in competing in the National Football League. I think it's a mindset you have to have, and you always got to be able to tweak and adjust, and frankly, realize when there's a time not to change too. I mean, there's some things that I know the year off taught me that. I think when you reflect and have a chance to step away, and they say you're old and you're stubborn and things, and so you look at those things, but everybody has a way of doing things. Football will never change. I think when you get too far away from the basics, you're usually going down the wrong road.
And then on the injuries again, anything with Jordan and TJ Bass? If you got any updates on the
I don't. I really don't. I'll probably head to the training room from here.
John Machado with The Athletic. These last 4 games for Rico Dowdle, what stands out most to you? Where has he impressed you most these last 4?
Oh, I mean, the thing that's always stood out to me, my opinion of Rico's is his run style. I mean, I love his run style. I mean, especially when he goes vertical. I mean, he breaks tackles. His contact balance is exceptional. He's got so much power in his hips, and he has a unique run style, which also he's done a much better job of protecting the football, because that's the challenge of that. He breaks a lot of tackles week in and week out. So, but just his consistency. And the thing I really want to see Rico do is take the next step, and that's to be a third down back too. Just be an every down back, and he's doing a little more of that, and we'll see how that looks moving forward, because it's important for him to touch the football.
And then you mentioned yesterday about the turnover differential, and obviously in defense you guys have been taking the ball away a lot more. Is there anything that you can point to over the last month or so? Why you think that number has gone up for you guys?
Oh, I just think our players have stayed after it. I mean, there's 2 steps to it. You have to first be in position, to create those opportunities, and then you got to execute them. So you can always work at, your angles, just keep emphasizing the techniques of ball extraction. And I just feel strongly as a coach, and I know the players do the same. You get what you emphasize. So, we're just making sure we're talking about it, emphasizing it, and it's something that the players have done a great job bringing it to life.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How resilient is your offensive line? It seems that every week you got something going on there.
Extremely resilient. I think not only every week, but in game. I think just the fact that if you look at the way we ran the ball at the end of the game, that's just a big credit to them and Zeke and Rico because just to put that game away and just to have the changes that went on throughout the game. So yeah, it's been a big part of our success on offense.
How tough has it been with your O-line coach? The coach is there to say, Mike, are we going to have this guy or not? And you say, well, you got to get this guy ready. How difficult are those conversations with those guys?
I'm not sure what you're.
They want certain guys ready, but they can't be ready. So how hard is it just to get
because of injury?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's part of the weekly process. We're going through it right now with Cooper Beebe, so hopefully he'll be ready to go. We'll be in a lighter schedule on Wednesday, but hopefully he can go by Thursday. So, yeah, the medical, there's a line there, and you do the best you can. The players are either in the rehab group or they're out or they're full. So, and everybody has a category. So, we have a general idea, and we're always trying to project. And I've always felt when a player can't practice and he's in a questionable mode, it's really twofold. You do what you need to do to get him ready to play in the game, but it's also an opportunity to develop other players, get somebody else ready, but also it's more reps for the younger players too. So there are benefits to that situation too for others, and so I think you just got to keep that in mind, and just that's part of our process.
Nick Harris, forward Star Telegram. Osa Dinizua, you've been here for the entirety of his career. Feels like he's playing the best ball of his career as of late. What's worked so well for him on and off the field?
Consistency. Osa's just such a stud. I mean, I can't. We have a number of guys whose work ethic is off the charts. He's definitely one of them. I mean, he's always here. If I have any concerns about Osa would be overtraining. Because he's always at it. He's always doing the extra stuff. Always taking care of his body, doing the extra things there, and he's just a wonderful human being. I mean, everybody loves Osa. He's a great teammate, and and he's a man that represents the Dallas Cowboys the right way.
It's been a year of opportunity for a lot of guys in different places of the depth chart. On one of the touchdowns yesterday, you had 7 undrafted free agents on the field at once. What would you say just about the opportunity and how certain guys have taken advantage of it this year?
Well, I think it's definitely great that you're really spending your time on your analytics. I'm impressed. And I think it reflects the fact that we've been kicking ass in the 8th round. So, but I think it's I think it's part of our draft and develop program. No, I'm just proud of those guys. I think they're all examples of just it's not where you start. You just keep working and when your opportunity comes, I think they're clearly taking advantage of it. So, I think that's awesome.
Saad Yusuf, The Athletic. Mike, what are the defining characteristics and traits in your ideal backup quarterback?
Well, I think the number one thing I've always looked in the backup is can we continue to play the way we always played? And that's something that Cooper gives us, because when you have to alter, so much, then it also takes away from the training of the others. So I think it's important when you build your roster, when we're in the off season, we're setting the template for the installations of the offensive scheme. You definitely want to have enough for everybody to get through 2 seasons. Is really why this thing really unfolds. But so for the backup quarterback just to go in and just plug and play is important, because the reality of it is when his opportunity comes, there's a good chance it may be in the flow of a game. So you're not going to have that full week to get them ready to go in for the first time too. So and it keeps your training regimen the same too. So I think that's very important when you're looking to, to develop and define what the quarterback room is supposed to be like.
And then throughout the time that a backup is the actual backup and not playing, what are the roles that you really look for him to execute out for the starter or for the team?
Well, it's very defined. Each the number 2 and number 3 have responsibilities each week. As far as the preparation, I mean, there's segments of a meeting that they'll be part of. So, the way the scout team is ran, as far as the number of reps that they get, particularly if there's a certain emphasis that, our defense needs to see, we make sure they see that. A lot of pre and post practice things that you'll see those guys involved in. If a perimeter player needs work in on a certain route or things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of responsibilities that our number 2 and 3 quarterbacks have.
Joe.
Joe Hoy, All City Dallas. Building off Calvin's questions, chemistry and kind of cohesiveness is so important on an offensive line. Now you guys have had so many shuffling around. How have you been able to keep that cohesiveness going?
Well, it's definitely probably one of the most important positions on your team. I mean, because if you think about it, I used to have a line coach who used to remind me all the time that he coached half the offense. And I say, yeah, but I coached the quarterback, so don't ever forget that. But it's I think it's important that you think about it. That position requires 5 guys to be in lock and step, every play, and that's why that room is so important, because whether you have 15 in there or 12, as your numbers coming out of training camp, those guys spend a lot of extra time together, and it's critical because you have to have them. And I think I think clearly since the 16 games, now 17 games, maybe 18 games, I think the heightened responsibility of that rooms is definitely growing. So you have to have it. You can't win without it. I think every year when you look at the playoff teams, the offensive and defensive line are a big part of the success of those teams.
When Brock Hoffman first kind of emerged, it was like, hey, he did a good job, but let's see how he responds when the tape comes out about him and how other teams now know who he is. How have you seen him kind of keep that going, how he's been playing?
Oh, super consistent. I mean, his attitude and energy, what he brings to the workplace has just been on point really since he's been here. Super professional, so well prepared, has a very connective personality, and he definitely deserves, a lot of credit for just the mindset, the play style that he's really helped push along up front.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, Trayvon Diggs went from playing 71 snaps against the Bengals to then maybe playing this week to then out for the year. Can you just sort of describe kind of the progression and how he went from returning to now out?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, you have to look at Trayvon. Trayvon's always going to try to go. He's a one of the most competitive guys that you'd ever want to be around. Once you cross the white lines. So. He came out of the game and it didn't feel right, and and you go through the process of being examined, and then once we were able to take the scan, get the scan, the MRI, then obviously we are where we are right now. So that's the timeline.
And what did you think of the rest of the secondary, filling in Amani Owarie and some of those other guys in Carolina?
Well, I think overall, I thought we did a really good job. I think particularly if you just look at some of the stress points that they had, as far as getting in and out of the empty formations and things like that. Because you have to, there was quite a bit as far as checks and things that those guys are involved in, and I thought they did a good job of handling that.
Tom.
Mike, did you learn anything about Guyton yesterday coming off the bench? And he appeared to play pretty well for you after not being able to practice very much and things like that.
Definitely, I think it's another experience for a young player. Anytime you go through an injury situation, especially what he's been through, and he put in a ton of extra time to get ready to be available for Cincinnati, and then see him take the next step and to get ready for Carolina. So yeah, that's all part of the learning process, and it'll definitely serve him well moving forward.
And then Dak was at the game. What's the benefit of him being there?
Well, Dak's one of your leaders of the football team. I mean, he's, face of the franchise. I mean, it's always a benefit to have Dak, around the football team, but I think it speaks volumes about him. I mean, he's still in it. I mean, he's here every day. So, he has his things that he needs to work on as far as the rehab part of it, but, he's still in the quarterback meetings. He's still in the team meetings, so he's still a part of it.
You've shown a high level of trust in Brandon Aubrey pretty much since he arrived here, and he's mostly rewarded that trust. What were your thoughts leading up to the 70-yard attempt, and your thoughts on kicks of that distance going forward?
I wish we were indoors. I wish he would have had a real chance at it. I was scared to death when the returner caught the ball. So, but because I've been on the other side of that before. 2005 in Chicago, if you want to look it up. But it's right before the half, last play of the half. But no, he's earned that opportunity. I mean, he does that on a regular basis. I mean, he's so impressive with his consistency from that distance. So, I obviously had the confidence that he can get it done. I know we got a little nervous here at the end because the wind was it wasn't enough to make a decision on the direction in the fourth quarter, but there's a little more wind going to our left, which I guess would have been to the south, than going to the north. So, but hey, we gave it a shot.
Cal.
You talk a lot about trimesters and that kind of thing. You got 3 left.
Yeah.
You're still alive. Do you talk to your team about we're still in this, or you just try to ignore it?
No. I mean, we talk about it. I don't talk a whole lot about it. I mean, it's the facts. We know where we are. Very matter of fact about it. We have to beat Tampa. I mean, because we need help. We understand that. So nothing. We have to put ourselves in position to get help. So, and we have to beat Tampa. And I mean, super impressive win. Yesterday against the Chargers. So I mean, that's really what we're focused on.
Ed Werder, WFAA. Seems like the performance of your defense has really changed since Micah came back, and he's coming back from an extended absence for the first time because of injury. How has he come back, and what kind of effect has he had on the way you're playing defensively?
I mean, Micah Parsons is an impact player. I mean, when we're at training camp, we know where he is. You have to know where he lines up, every single play because of the impact that he can make on any play. So I think that in itself tells you the difference that he can make. It's not only just in game planning, but the in-game adjustments. And I think it's obvious why we've been different with his impact.
All righty. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.